I'm just going to take a moment so people can take note of the email address. Hello, my name is Mitchell Loafman. I'm a undergraduate researcher at the West Liberty University Crayfish Conservation Lab. My poster is on the life history of the rock crayfish, Cambarus carinirostris, in the northern panhandle of West Virginia. Um, Brief moment to acknowledge the West Liberty Crayfish Conservation Lab. Crayfish are one of the most imperiled groups in the United States, and they reach their endemic peak in the United States. Many genuses, I, all genuses, but specifically Cambarus, which is the genus of which the crayfish I'm studying or plan to study is in, is one of the lowest, with only 9% of 97 species having a life history study conducted. It's also important to note that the 9% is may misrepresent some of the data that we have, as there isn't a um, standardized life history uh, practice that people use, and so some of the data in that is great, and in other cases it's not so great. um, but Cambarus carinirostris is a secondary burrowing species endemic to the northeastern United States. It is here in West Liberty. It is one of the local species that we have. Um, One of the two stream dwelling species. Um, and I plan to, over the course of a year, sample at least 30 species or 30 specimens from Kings Creek, West Virginia. Um, that's in Weirton. I plan to take morphometric data from all the individuals, um, life history data such as molt state, sexual form, habitat preference. This data will be used to determine mating seasons, growth rate, fecundity, size of sexual maturity, and the study is going to provide a more complete understanding of the life history of Cambarus carinirostris. Um, Not only will it provide a more complete understanding of Cambarus carinirostris, but it is my hope that it can provide a more complete understanding of crayfish in the genus Cambarus when addressing life history. For example, if there was a need for immediate conservation action to be taken of a close related member of the genus, and they don't have a life history study done, then you can supplement, for example, Cambarus carinirostris in that case. My objectives are to provide life history information for Cambarus carinirostris, determine size, age requirement for sexual maturity of Cambarus carinirostris, determine average fecundity of Cambarus carinirostris, identify habitat preference at each life stage, detect seasonal changes in habitat. Um, this study will be following the um, life history practices of Oates et al. Um, in his life history of Thepiensis, Cambarus thepiensis, because, as I've said before, there is a lack of continuity between life history studies. And as a former member of the um, West Liberty University Crayfish Conservation Lab, um, I put a fair amount of trust in his methods. Um, this project will be conducted over a single site over the course of the year. This might actually change. It might be two sites, with perhaps a third only used to collect females. Um, because when we're taking female data for females, we have to kill them to, for example, count eggs. And I don't want it to affect the study site itself. Um, Collection method, species will, or species, I keep saying species, specimens will be collected by a seine dip net, traps, and by hand, all your classic crayfish collection methods, and all available habitats will be sampled. The importance of this study is crayfish are ecosystem engineers that create habitat for a variety of stream dwelling species. Crayfish play a vital role in the ecosystem as a keystone species, linking higher and lower trophic levels. Crayfish are the third most imperiled group of organisms in the United States, and there is a current lack of life history data on crayfish. Here is a picture of our study site in the bottom left, figure 1. Here is, I don't know if that's a male or a female, but this is Cambarus carinirostris in figure 2. And in figure 3, we have an example of seine usage for crayfish collection. That's actually me kicking under the rock. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation and hope you found it at least a little bit interesting. I will stop recording now.